Welcome back to the GenTwenty podcast. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Marina.
And today we're chatting about affordable self-care. Now, Marina and I have mentioned previously that we think self-care takes on many forms. Sometimes that includes self-soothers. But ultimately, we think that self-care is really about taking time for yourself every day and spending it in a way that you need to spend it to fill up your cup.
Exactly. Self-care can get expensive, either because you're paying therapy copays or you are treating yourself to a massage, and it can be lengthy in time. If you're going to therapy, hopefully you're going regularly, and that is a lot of time out of your week and month and year. But it doesn't always have to be so intensive. So we've come up with a list of things that are both inexpensive and not time intensive to help you find a moment for yourself. So one of my favorite things to do, especially when I'm feeling stressed, and I'm disclaimer, I'm a scroller of social media. One of my favorite things to do is unfollow the people on social media that make me feel bad about myself. I'm talking the accounts that are maybe influencers that are showing you a life ideal that is impossible to attain. I'm talking about, the friends who you care about, but they're posting content that just takes away from you. Mute them, unfollow. It's going to be okay. But take that time to create a feed that when you do go on social media, it gives you something. It doesn't take anything away.
Yeah, it inspires you. It's really things that you want to be looking at. It does not make you feel bad about yourself in any way, whether that's like physically, emotionally, like following your own path, making you feel like you're not good enough. Any kind of content that does that is not something that you need in your life. Okay. So, another thing that we like to do, I think we both do this, is meditate. That's not always for everyone, but there are definitely some apps like Headspace is one that's really popular. I know I've used that a few times myself, and you can just do that, when you wake up or before you go to sleep as part of your morning or nighttime routine. And that's just like a really quick way to take a pause and center yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I use the Column app, and you can download it for free, or there's paywalls for other kind of more in-depth meditations and offerings. But I have found I really like ending my day with just 10 minutes of deep breathing, and they have play cricket sounds, and it's really peaceful. And I've been falling asleep and staying asleep because I'm able to disconnect and really just take a second to unwind before bed. And I also do it when I'm feeling stressed in the middle of the day because it's just 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's just like a way to, infuse some self care into any part of your day, basically.
Yeah. Another thing I like to do that might sound silly, but I swear by it, is I will talk to my plants because it's good for you and it's good for the plants. Anything living that's green is taking in carbon dioxide as their oxygen and releasing oxygen. So basically, you're just feeding your plant. And, I say, good morning, hello, I sing to it. And it's a kind of a moment for me to be a little bit silly, but also to kind of release tension because I'm talking to a plant and I can't take myself seriously when I do that.
Yeah, and it's a very cyclical thing, I know, because you're giving them something they need. And it can also just be a little cathartic to just let out some feelings. I don't know if there's any research on yelling angry feelings at plants, but I'm sure that it would say the carbon dioxide coming out is supporting them more than hurting them.
For sure.
Yeah, so another thing that you can do is stretch. I know, I always feel better after moving my body and having that as part of my day because, one, it's I think bodies are meant to be in motion as much as possible, and just moving yourself, stretching your muscles out, getting that blood flow, I think it helps us, to breathe a little deeper, take in more air, work out our bodies, like any tension we're holding on to, whether we're sitting a lot, all this working from home, it's really getting to us. So I don't know. I think taking some time to stretch is really important.
Definitely. And go on walks, even if it's around your apartment, even if it's around your house, even if it's just in your neighborhood. Emotions need motion. My therapist says this to me all the time. And it's true. Sometimes in order to process something, we need to just have gentle movement because you need to be like taking in air, breathing, and a change of scenery is always helpful, even if it's the other side of your house.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's definitely like a super easy way to have some time for self-care. And you can even use that time that you're going on a walk to, listen to a positive podcast or just listen to some music and just kind of, detach a little bit from whatever you're working on and just, have a few moments just to listen to some feel good music, maybe listen to the GenTwenty podcast. I don't know,
Yeah, if
some
you're
suggestions.
listening to us on a walk, we love you. We see you. We support you.
Another thing is kind of jumping into a little bit of gratitude here is to name 3 good things or 3 positive things. This could be about your life in general, maybe about your day, maybe about yourself. I think there's like a couple different ways you could approach this, but I think really focusing on the good things in your life can be very helpful.
Yeah, it definitely helps you shift perspective. And even on the hardest of days, it reminds you that you still have a little bit of light coming through the clouds. And I also like to journal. I journal every morning, but when I'm feeling really stressed or really anxious, I journal extra. I write every single feeling down. And I think just the pen to paper act of physically writing, since we don't do that much anymore, we're always on screens, the physical act of writing helps us process in a different way. And oftentimes by the end of my journaling session, I've come to a new conclusion and or a new realization. And another thing that's great to do when you need some downtime is to read a book. I love spending afternoons reading. I find it so relaxing, and it's really helpful to unplug from my phone, put my phone in a different room, and be off the screens.
Yeah, I think it really helps to kind of I when I read books, especially fiction books, I really like to lose myself kind of in a good story. And I love when you're just, halfway through the book and you like haven't even noticed you've gotten that far. And I
Hmm.
think it's like that part, like that detaching is like I think it's important part of, self-care because we like our lives can sometimes feel like that's all there is and that's all that matters. And I think a lot of times books can take us out of our like elements, our comfort zones and help us experience other emotions other than what we're used to.
Yeah, and I think it's easier when it's always easier to understand someone else's dilemma than your own. So if you're reading, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, if you're reading about someone else's life and you're seeing their experience that might be similar to yours, it feels different because you're kind of separated from it. So it helps you process in a way that you won't realize you need until you've finished reading.
I think that's a really good point. Yeah, I read a book the other day actually. I sent it to you even though it's not a book that you asked for.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it was called When Katie Met Cassidy. And I thought the story was just okay, but I actually just read it all in like an hour and a half. And afterwards I was like, wow, that felt really good to like just read a whole book. And I mean, I was in the bath while I read it. So I don't know, it was just really relaxing. And I felt like a lot more calm after I did that.
Yeah, one of my favorite pastimes, which happens less and less often, is to spend a whole day reading a whole book. It's the most luxurious thing I can think of, and it's my favorite. Like, I'm always so relaxed and so happy afterwards.
Yeah, I think it just makes like a huge difference. Like, I love a bath. I just ordered more bath bombs from Lush the other day. Um,
Oh
I've
yeah, you're
tried a
the
lot of bath bombs from other brands, but Lush is just like, I feel like they're just so rich and delicious?
Yeah, they really effervesce and give you the scent story experience.
And they last a long time. Like, I mean, I was in the bath for almost 2 hours the other day, and it was, still going strong at the end of that, which I mean, it should for being how much it costs, but I don't
But
know. I
still,
just really enjoy them.
yeah, baths are a great way to relax because, again, you're kind of forced to step away and you can't be interrupted as easily because you just are sitting in hot water. Like, you can't, it's harder to be on your phone, it's harder to be on a screen. So you're
hmm
just there taking time.
Yeah, relaxing, doing whatever you feel like you need to, thinking about stuff, meditating,
Hmm.
reading. I don't know. Maybe you have a plant in your bathroom.
Maybe you talk to that plant.
Yeah, have a
Like,
chat.
and if you don't have time to take a bath, sometimes just washing your face is enough to give you a moment of calm and soothing because you just it's kind of very symbolic of like you wash your face, you wash your hands of the things that stress you out. So Try splashing water on your face the next time you need a second to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wash my face like in the middle of the day just to kind of like reset everything, and I think it feels good because it's like an easy way to cleanse yourself, but I think it's also kind of like signaling to yourself subconsciously within your mind where you're like, I care about myself, I'm taking care of myself, I'm important. And I think like even those little reminders of like taking care of ourselves physically are an important act of self-care because they do remind you that you matter and that you need to be taken care of even in times of like extreme stress.
Yeah, definitely. On days that I'm feeling really down, I always dress up because I'm trying to signal to my brain that well, one, I love clothes and getting dressed up, but it's signaling to my brain that I deserve being taken care of and that I'm okay and that everything has to be fine because look, I'm wearing a nice outfit.
Mhm. Obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think that it's really important and that it can be a way that we kind of get ourselves back on the path that we want to be on.
Exactly.
Another suggestion we have is to listen to a favorite album, song, playlist, anything that makes you, like feel upbeat, happy, positive, or even something that you just associate with a really positive memory. I guess it was a few years ago now. Marina and I were driving around Santa Barbara and we were listening to Ed Sheeran's album and the sun was setting and it was just so nice and casual. And whenever I listen to that album now, like I think of that memory and it's like very special to me.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Oh,
love that. That's like whenever I listen to one of Taylor Swift's albums that we listened to in your apartment when your baby was so little and I would just bounce him around and sing to him. I always think of that when I listen to that album.
oh, that's so sweet. Now we'll have
Yeah.
to have a listening party
Let's have a listening party.
after this.
Um, one last simple DIY self-care that I actually did this morning is paint your toenails. Treat yourself. Do something that just feels a little frivolous but is about beautifying yourself because whatever it is, you deserve to feel good and you should do what makes you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, speak to that right now. Like, I really need to paint my toenails, and every time I look at them, I'm just like, oh, just another thing I have to do. But I think tonight, after my son goes to bed, I'm just gonna, take some time, really lotion myself up, get things looking really nice, put on a fresh coat of polish, listen to some positive music. And I have high expectations for this. I don't know about anyone else listening, but I'm really looking forward to it.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And the moral of our story is this: you need to take time for yourself to just simply do something for yourself. Our mental health is the number one thing that needs to be taken care of. And while we may not be mental health experts, we are experts in having mental health. And, it just, I can't express enough how strongly I feel about positive actions to take care of yourself. Because if you take care of yourself, then you can give back and take care of others. And so your cup runneth over and you
Mhm.
continue to expand. Well, this has been another episode of the GenTwenty podcast. We so appreciate you listening and hope you've found some ways to take a moment for yourself today. Let us know, email us, find us on Instagram if you have any other ways you like to spend some time for yourself that's low key or low investment. And if you like this episode or if you didn't, leave us a review or rate us. We'd love to hear from you.